Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha, Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radha, Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radha, Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha, Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha, Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe, Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Swami Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Swami Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev Jai Subhadra, Jai Baladev Jai Subhadra, Jai Baladev Jai Subhadra, Jai Baladev Jai Subhadra, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev Jaya Jaya, Gurudev Jaya Jaya, Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev Jaya Jaya, Gurudev Shri Shri Radha Giridhari की जय, श्री बलदेव सुभद्रा जगन्नाथ भगवान की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताई की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं, देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। श्रुवन्तं स्वाकथा कृष्ण पुण्यसर्वनं कीर्तनं, हृदयन्तो स्थभद्राणि विदुनोति श्रुतसताम्। नष्टप्रयासु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया, भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Naranarayan Rishi, the superhuman being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasdeva, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desires for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the ears to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, established as an irrevocable fact. Reading from Srimad Prabhupada Leela Amrit. Yeah, Prabhu. Can you somebody go on? Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Reading from Prabhupada Sri Leela Srila Prabhupada was planning to go to England, but first he wanted to visit his farm project in West Virginia. And he had also been promising the devotees in San Francisco he would attend their Rath Yatra festival in July. This traveling to establish and expand his ISKCON was alone enough to keep him busy. Yet he was also always meditating on his work of translating and commenting on Vedic literature. In LA, during December, Srila Prabhupada had begun the Nectar of Devotion, a summary study of Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. The Nectar of Devotion would be a handbook for his disciples, elaborately explaining the science and practice of Bhakti Yoga. Simultaneously with the Nectar of Devotion, he had also begun Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a summary study of Srimad Bhagavatam's 10th canto. Visiting the temple only on Sundays, he had spent most of his time at his small rented house on the outskirts of Beverly Hills, where he worked intensely on his two major literacy projects. Prabhupada's most ambitious literary undertaking and the completion of Srimad Bhagavatam was to be no less than 60 volumes. He had begun in India in 1959, and all along he had been aware that he was attempting a gigantic task at an advanced age. Now Krishna was giving him opportunities both for writing Vedic literature and for traveling, and he was working at an amazing pace. The force driving Prabhupada was the desire of his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. As for how much time he had remaining to execute his mission, that was in Krishna's hands. Everything was up to Krishna. If Krishna wants to kill you, no one can save you. And if Krishna wants to save you, no one can kill you. Yet, although Prabhupada was always in transcendental consciousness beyond the effects of old age, he was aware that he didn't have many more years left. All along, he had had the vision of a spiritual movement for all nations and cultures. And to establish this, he was racing against time. Okay, let me share this. Hare Krishna once again, and welcome to our morning Srimad Bhagavatam classes. Today's reading is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, The Creative Impetus, Chapter 3, verse 8. Anubhav. Anabdev appearance in the womb of Merudev, the wife of King Navi, in text 12. Atha kanchit sakala, atha kanchit sakalana chitta patana Drimbhana dukha sthanan adhishu vivashanam na smaranaye javamarana dashaya yamapi sakala kasmalana nirasa sanani tvaguna kirtana nama deyani vachana Gocharani bhavantu. I'll attempt one more time. Ata kataschit katana chitta sakalana chitta patana jimbana dhruvasthana dishu vivashanam na samaranaye javamarana dashayamapi sakala kasmalana nirasa sanani Tvaguna Kitana Namadeyani Vachana Gocharani Bhavantu. Okay, someone do a better job, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam, I'm trying.
Dandavad Pranam.
Atha kathanchit skhalana kshutpatana jimbhram duravasthanadishu vibhoshanam nasmaranaya jaramarano dashayamopi sakala kasmala nirasanani tavo gunakrite namadhyani vachana gocharani bhavantu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
Yeah.
অথ কথঞ্চিৎ স্খলনক্ষুৎপতন জৃম্ভন দুরবস্থানাদিষু বিবশানাম নঃ স্মরণায় জড়মরণ দশায়ামপি সকল কস্মল নিরসনানি তব গুণকৃত নামধেয়ানি বচন গোচরানি ভবন্তু. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. I am also trying.
Please.
Atha kathonchit skhalana patana jrimbhana duravasthana dishu vibhashanam nah smaranaya jaramarana dashaya mopi sakala kasmala nirasanani tava gunakrita namadhyani vachana gochorani bhavantu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Your track, please.
Yeah, please.
Atha kathanchit shakalan chut patan jimbhana duravasthanadishu vivashanam naha samranaya jivare maran dasayamapi sakal kashmalam nirasanani tvagunakrite nama dheyani vachana gocharani bhavantu. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, synonyms translation and prepared by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Atha is still, katanchit, somehow or the other, sakalan, stumbling, chitta, hanga, patan, falling down, drimbhana, yawning, duruvastitana, because of being placed in an undesirable position, adishu, and so on, vivasanam, unable of ourselves, samaranaya, to remember, juvar marana dasyam, in the case of having a high fever at the time of death, api also, sakala, all, kasmalam sins, nirasanani, nirasanani, which can dispel toa, yo, guna, attributes, krita, activities, namadehiyani, names, vachana gocharani, possible to be uttered. Bhavantu, let them become. In translation, dear Lord, we may not be able to remember your name, form, and qualities due to stumbling, hunger, falling down, yawning, or being in a miserable, diseased condition at the time of death, when there is a high fever. We therefore pray unto you, O Lord, for you are very affectionate to your devotees. Please help us remember you and utter your holy names, attributes, and activities, which can dispel all the reactions of our sinful lives. The real success in life, this is perfect, the real success in life is ante narayana smriti, remembering the holy names, attributes, activities, and forms of the Lord at the time of death. Although we may be engaged in the Lord's devotional service in the temple, material conditions are so tough and inevitable that we may forget the Lord at the time of death due to a disease, condition, or mental derangement. Therefore, we should pray to the Lord to be able to remember his lotus feet without fail at the time of death. When we are in such a precarious condition, in this regard, one may also see Srimad Bhagavatam 6 to 9 to 10 and 14 to 15, Samba Krishna's son. Oh, sorry, that's my note. Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Lokanath Swami Niti Namne Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namne Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisese Sunyavadi Paschata Destarane Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Salakya Chakshurumlitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijana Sahita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Vitamsha. He Krishna Karna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaskute Jaitam Sruto Pangora Mama Namatere Gati Mata Sarvaspadam Bhoja Radha Madanamo Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavineshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranmami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhaischa kripa sindhu vayo yevacha patitanam pavanubhayo vaishnavyo namo namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Shri Radha Girdhari ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Guru Maharaj ki jai. So this is chapter 3 of Canto 5 of Srimad Bhagavatam. In this chapter, the spotless character, this is the summary at the beginning of the chapter. The spotless character of King Navi, the oldest son of Agnidhara, is described. Wanting to have sons, Maharaj Navi underwent severe austerities and penances. He performed many sacrifices along with his wife and worshipped Lord Vishnu, master of all sacrifices. Being very kind to his devotees, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was very pleased with the austerities of Maharaj Navi. He personally appeared before the king in his four-handed feature, and the priests who were performing the sacrifices began to offer their prayers unto him. They prayed for a son like the Lord, and Lord Vishnu agreed to take birth in the womb of Meru Devi, the wife of King Navi, and is an incarnation of. So here the priests are continuing to offer their prayers to Lord Vishnu. I'll reread it. Ata kata chitta sakalan chitta patana jimbrana dura vastana adhishu vivasanamna samaranaye javara marana dashayamapi sakala kasmalam nirasanani tva gunakritana namadheyani vachana gocharani bhavantu. Dear Lord, we may not be able to remember your name, form, and qualities due to stumbling, hunger, falling down, yawning, or being in a miserable, diseased condition at the time of death, when there is a high fever. Normally, we have that. We therefore pray unto you, O Lord, for you are very affectionate to your devotees. Please help us remember you and utter your holy name, attributes, and attributes of pastimes, which can dispel all the reactions of our sinful lives. Srila Prabhupada explains further, the real success of life is Ante Narayana Smarate, remembering the holy names, attributes, activities, and form of the Lord at the time of death. So that is the success of life. At the time of death, we need to remember the Lord. Although we may be engaged in the Lord's devotional services in the temple, material conditions are so tough and inevitable that we may forget the Lord at the time of death due to a disease condition or mental derangement. Therefore, we should pray to the Lord to be able to remember his lotus feet without fail at the time of death, when we are in such a precarious conditions. In this regard, so I'll go to Canto 6, chapter 2, text 9 and 10. Let's see what that says. Istena surapo mitra druga brahma guru talpaga Istri raja prita gohanta ye chapata ki no pare sarve sham pe adva dvatami midhameva sunishkritam nama vyaharana Vishnu tatasta dvisya mati. Translation is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord Vishnu is the best process of atonement for a thief of gold or other valuables, for a drunkard, for one who betrays a friend or relative, for one who kills a Brahman, or for one who indulges in sex with the wife of his guru or another superior. It is also the best method of atonement for one who murders women, the king or his father, for one who slaughters cows, and for all other sinful men. What is it? The chanting of the holy name of Lord Vishnu. That is in Canto 6 of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 2, text 9 and 10. These are Canto 6 has got prescribed duties of mankind. And this is part of Ajamil's katha. So that's in there. Because this man has chanted my holy name, my duty is to give him protection. This is Ajamil. Remember, he was calling his son Narayan all the time. So at the time of death, the Yamadutas wanted to take him away, and the Vishnu Dutas came and saved him. Go back to, sorry. Then 14 and 15 of the same canto, same chapter. Sankirtane parihasye va stobhamam helanameva va Vaikuntha nama gahanam asesya haranam vidhu. One who chants the holy names of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins, even if he chants indirectly to indicate something else, like Ajamil was doing. He was calling Narayan's name, but he wasn't actually referring to Narayan. He was calling Narayan, but his son was named Narayan. So that's why even if you indirectly, you're calling somebody else, but you're taking the Lord's name. Or jokingly, for musical entertainment, people sing bhajans. Though they not knowing the meaning of it, but because they like the music, they're singing it. Here Bhagavatam says that you still get the benefit, or even neglectfully. This is accepted for all the learned scholars of the scriptures. And the next one, Patita Skalalito Bhagana Sandashta Tapta Ahat Haririrtya va Seno Punam Narhati Yat Yatna. If one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accident, misfortune, such as falling from the top of a house, slipping and suffering broken bones while traveling on the road, being bitten by a serpent, being afflicted with pain and high fever, or being injured by a weapon, one is immediately absolved from having to enter hellish life. So you are saved, even if you unintentionally. These are some examples where through Sukadeva Goswami is telling us that if one chants the holy names of the Lord, anyhow, whether you intentionally or directly or indirectly or jokingly, or you're singing, you still get your sins eradicated, sins wiped off. Or immediately absolved from having to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful. So at least you are like Ajamil's case. Remember, Ajamil didn't immediately get liberated. He was saved from going to Yamdut with the Yamdut, but if you know the story, he was told by the Vishnu Dutas to take heed. They sent him, and from there he left everything and went and did a lot of penances, and then later he went to Golok. Remember, Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, Yam Vapi Samram Bhavam, that's Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, text 6, Yam Vapi Samram Bhavam, Tyajatyante Kalevaram, Tam Tam Yavati Kunteya Sada Tata Bhava Bhavit. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. If one practices chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, he is naturally expected to chant Hare Krishna when he meets with some accident. Even without such practice, however, if one somehow or the other chants the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, when he meets with an accident and dies, he will be saved from hellish life after death. Remember, the important thing is you are saved from hellish life. You are not going to get liberated. So I'll like to read the next one, the next sloka. Authorities who are learned scholars and sages have carefully ascertained that one should atone for the heaviest sins by undergoing heavy processes of atonement, and one should atone for lighter sins by undergoing lighter atonement. I mean, you do bigger sinful acts, you have to do more ritualistic atonement, and for lesser sinful things, less one. But chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, however, vanquishes all the effects of sinful activities, regardless of whether it's heavy or light. And I also want to read the purport here by Srila Prabhupada. He writes that in this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes an incident that took place when Samba was rescued from the punishment of the Kauravas. Samba fell in love with the daughter of Duryodhana. And since, according to Kshatriya custom, one is not offered a Kshatriya daughter unless he displays his chivalrous valor, Samba abducted her. Consequently, Samba was arrested by the Kauravas. Later, when Lord Balaram came to rescue him, there was an argument about Samba's release. Since the argument was not settled, Balaram showed his power in such a way that all of the Hastinapur trembled and would have been vanquished as if by a great earthquake. Then the matter was settled and Samba married Duryodhana's daughter Lakshmana. The purport is that one should take shelter of Krishna Balaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose protective power is so great that it cannot be equal in the material world. However, however powerful the reactions of one's sins are, they will immediately be vanquished if one chants the names of Hare Krishna, Balaram, or Narayan. So going back to this Samba's story, he was, they had a, Duryodhana and them had a swambar, and Samba was in love with Lakshmana, Duryodhana's daughter. But so instead of attending the, he went there, but he abducted her and took off. And he fought with the Kaurav soldiers, Maharathis, defeated many of them. Eventually, he was captured and he was put in the cell. And when the message went to the Vrishani, the Dwarka, the Lord Balram came, because Balram, remember Duryodhana was his disciple in Maisyu Gadayud. So he thought, I'll go and fetch him in a friendly way. But when he came, the Kauravas refused, and he used his plow. He was trying to drown the Hastinapur, this kingdom, into River Yamuna. And when he was pulling it, then they they got incensed, they realized who they were dealing with, and therefore they agreed to let Samba go. And so here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur tells us that by being by being rescued by, or by remembering the, I'm trying to get my sloka back. By remembering the Lord, by going at the Krishna and Balaram, then we are saved from all the calamities. Whether there's interest with the Samba story, I would like to tell you a couple of things, and let's have a bit of discussion what's going on here. Samba was the son of Lord Krishna and Jamwanti. Jamwanti didn't have any children, while all the other 16,107 other queens, they had many children. Remember, each one of them had 10 sons each. But Jamwanti didn't have any, so she approached Lord Krishna and requested him that she also wants a son like his first Lord Krishna's first son, Pradyumna. So here, Lord Krishna, who we say is the Supreme Personality of, we don't say, but we read and have here is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in this instant, in Mahabharata and Devi Bhagavatam, it is noted that Lord Krishna went to Himalaya and worshipped Lord Shiva for 6 months for a month he was holding a skull on a road, and then he's standing on one leg only for the next month, and surviving on water only for another month. During third month, he did standing on his toes. And then another month living on air only. Living on air means he wasn't eating anything. And finally, Lord Shiva was pleased with Krishna's worship, and he appeared in his Samba form. Samba is Ardha Narishwar, half male and half female form. That's the name Samba. That's how Samba got the name Samba. Samba means Ardha Nari. And the question here I would like to pose is that we know that Lord Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why he had to go and request or do such a severe austerity for 6 months to please Lord Shiva and get his blessings for his son? Why wasn't he able to do it himself? And I start thinking about it, but I'll put another question there. Samba was the naughtiest of all the sons of Lord Krishna. And once Narad Rishi was visiting Dwarka, and he was mocking his appearance. So Narad decided to teach him a lesson. But what he did was he took him to a place where the other queens of Lord Krishna were bathing, and made him peep through, look at the ladies bathing there. And they were horrified when they realized Samba was peeping at their naked form while they were bathing. Sorry, it wasn't naked, missed that. And so when they reported the matter to Lord Krishna, and when he found out that what Samba was doing, he cursed him that you become a leper, you suffer from leprosy. And then Samba pleaded with his father that it was Narad's fault. He didn't realize, he did not know that the mothers were, their stepmothers, his stepmothers were swimming there or bathing, and Narad made him go and look at it. He wasn't aware of it. So he didn't intentionally do that. It was a mistake. The cause was Narad. And when Lord Krishna realized this, that it wasn't Samba's fault, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Instead of curing him, he told him to go and worship the sun god and get his blessings to cure his leprosy. So the question here I want to pose is, how come? Isn't it contradictory? Lord, we all agree, Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and how come he had to go and worship Lord Shiva? And then instead of curing Samba, he told him to go and worship sun god. Can somebody contribute, please? Hello, do I have others with me? Let me see who are there. Oh yeah, okay. Heard my question?
Yes, Prabhu, we heard your question, but don't know the answer.
You know the answer?
No.
Anybody else? Isn't it confusing or bewildering that Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I mean, is there any doubt in anybody's mind that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Anybody doubts that?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, just wanted to know what was the source of your stories?
Mahabharata and Devi Puran. Remember, Mahabharata and Devi Puran is also written by Vyasdev. So there's no question of different opinion.
So just wondering the interpretation or the storytelling authenticity, Prabhu.
Yeah. I'm going back to it, when Jamandi wanted a son, she requested Lord Krishna that she wants a son. As like Pradyumna. Pradyumna was the first son of Lord Krishna, and he was very strong and powerful. So instead of the story is that in Mahabharata, that instead of blessing Jamanti with the son, he went and did a tapasya, did austerity. He went to Himalaya and worshipped Lord Shiva for his blessings to get a son to please Jamanti. And the second story also is that once Narad Rishi wanted to get even because the Samba was teasing him for his appearance. He wanted to teach him a lesson. He took him to the place where the other queens were bathing, and made Jaman pigs in their women bathing. So when Lord Krishna found out about it, he cursed him to become a leper, suffer with leprosy, the disease leprosy. And when Samba then again told him what had happened, why he did not intentionally go and peek there. It was caused by Narad Rishi. So instead of curing Samba, he told him to go and worship sun god, who will then, of course, in the stories that he got cured later by worshiping Lord sun god. And there, if you go back and see this, that's where this established the sun temples in India. So my question is that what the two stories do not puts a doubt there. Though Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, why he had to go and worship Lord Shiva? And again, why he had to send Samba to worship the sun god? Bit contradictory stories, but the source is reliable because Vyasdev wrote both, all three. Bhagavatam, Vyasdev wrote, Mahabharata he wrote, and Devi Puran he also wrote. So how do we explain that? Confused, isn't it?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dharma Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Regarding the source, the Mahabharata, there are number of editions of Mahabharata, and even Madhvacharya said the Mahabharata has been.
Let's not get deviated. The source is genuine.
No, the
This
source
is the real story.
You have to look at the
What
source.
I'm trying to do is I'm going, I'll explain later, but I want you to start thinking that Lord Shiva Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How come? Don't get deviated. This for a moment, even if you doubt it, just think that the source, of course, the source is genuine. How do we explain why Lord Krishna went and worshipped Lord Shiva? Don't doubt the source. Just question is why he had to do this. If you go and read Mahabharata, it is there. No matter which version you read, the original is written by Vyasdev.
No, my point is that because so many versions of Mahabharata are there, and even Madhvacharya has mentioned that some of the original Mahabharata have been edited or compromised. So we don't.
What I'm saying that even if you doubt the origin of the source, but this is all the sources say the same thing. For example, perhaps you will get a hint there. Lord Ramchandra also went and worshipped Lord Shiva before fighting with Ravana. What I'm saying that now, was to put aside that doubt for a moment, and then how do we explain this? If you had listened to the radio show 2 weeks ago, you would have, it looks like all of you missed it. The answer to the question is that, let me put a question. Who is Lord Shiva? Anyone? Lord Shiva is an expansion of Lord Krishna. Is the same person in different pastimes. We have heard this many times. Lord Krishna expanded, and you want the real source is in the Brahmand Puran and Brahma Vaivarta Puran, where when he's creating, it's mentioned there, and sun, Surya, who is that? Doesn't in Bhagavad Gita said, I'm the, what's that sloka text? Where he says, I'm the light of sun. Surya Narayan, we worship the sun god as an expansion of Lord Krishna. Let me put it this way. Lord Krishna, he had many expenses. He has given different departments. Lord Shiva is in charge of any lighting, the creation that Brahma does. And Samba, you need to go further. Samba was the cause of destruction of the Vrishani clan. Remember, he was the main person. He tied up the iron around his belly and went to the rishis, asking them to predict whether it's a male child or female child. And when he got cursed, that that child, whatever you got there, will be the cause of destruction of the Vrishani clan. So he was the main cause. Samba was the main cause, and he is an expansion of Lord Shiva. So this is why Lord Krishna went. This is the reason why Krishna went to Lord Shiva, asking him to come in this pastimes. Whereas, of course, Lord Krishna could have instructed, like he instructed, Mahamaya to take bath in Devki's womb and then transfer Balram and take bath there. But instead of this, trying to, this is the way I'm interpreting, is that he's trying to establish, he has established the different departments, the different personalities, and he was trying to establish that for this purpose, you go to this person, this form for curing your diseases, you go to Surya Dev, just like in Mahabharata, at the end, Lord Krishna took Yudhishthira to Bhishma Dev. Lord Krishna knew everything, but instead of trying to teach to Yudhishthira, he took them to Bhishma Dev so that he glorifies his own devotees. So, and a very materialistic example I can give is those people who have been watching movies. If you, I can only remember the very old ones, Amitabh's Dawn and Coolie. Do people remember? What's the difference between Amitabh in Coolie and in Dawn? Anyone? You missed me. The same person acting in different movies differently, but the personality is the same one. Similarly, Lord Krishna takes lots of form. all his expenses, and like the one that you remember, Lord Ram Chandra and Lord Krishna, in different yugas comes in, was the same personality, different pastimes, and of course we know at least the 22 other forms, the same personality of Godhead, but different pastimes, different yugas, different forms. And similarly, it's no, Lord Krishna is the one who expanded as Lord Shiva. And Krishna is the one who expanded as Brahma to create, and Lord Shiva to destroy. And sun god is Indians should know, if you for any disease you offer or worship Lord the Surya Dev, sun god. Of course, Vaishnavas don't do that, but that's different matter. What I'm trying to do is, or trying to explain, is that this is the main reason why Lord Krishna. You can check up in the Mahabharata. If you doubt my story, you can check up in the Mahabharata, read it. Of course, Samba's story is not there in Bhagavatam. That doesn't mean it's not authentic. Vyasdeva wrote Mahabharata. Vyasdeva wrote all the other ones. Similarly, when earlier, if you read Shiv Puran, Lord Shiva is, Vyasdeva says Lord Shiva is the Supreme Personality. You read the Devi Puran, Devi is the Supreme. Read Bhagavatam, Lord Krishna is the Supreme. The same person. How come he wrote different contradictory things? No, then if you go back to the beginning, when Narad, when Vyasdeva, after writing all those Puranas, was not happy. So remember at the beginning, Narad goes and tells him that what he has written, he has missed out. And then that's when he starts writing Bhagavatam. So it doesn't make Lord Shiva the supreme, more higher in his status than Lord Krishna, but he's honoring his own, you can say, devotees. He always puts his devotees before him. The other thing is teaching us that you want material things, you go to Lord Shiva. You want come back to me, you come to me. I hope I clarified that. If you're more confused, you're still confused, you go ahead read them. Any comments? Or sorry to confuse you guys on that. Any more comments or questions? I hope you people are still listening to me. I'm not talking to my computer.
Oh, there doesn't seem to be any comments.
Bewildered, confused. Think about it. Ask other people. Don't take my words. But the story is there. You can ask more senior devotees to explain. This is my interpretation. I didn't have time to consult anyone. This is from what I've heard. Okay, let's wind it down. अथाकथचित् सकल चित्त पतन दृम्भरण दुर्वस्थान दिशु विवशानाम न स्मरणाय जवर मरण दशायामपि सकल कश्मलम निरसनानि तव गुण कृतनाम ध्येयानि वचन गोचरानि भवन्तु. Dear Lord, may we, I think this prayer comes in handy here. Dear Lord, we may not be able to remember your name, form, and qualities due to stumbling, hunger, falling down, yawning, or being in a miserable disease condition at the time of death, when there is a high fever. We therefore pray unto you, O Lord, for you are very affectionate to your devotees. Please help us remember you and utter your body, your holy names, attributes, and activities, which can dispel all the reactions of our sinful lives. So if you are still confused, do more chanting and Krishna will take care of that. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, वैष्णव वृंद की जय,
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा
कृपा सिंधुभ्यश्च
सिन्धुभ्यश्च
पतितनां
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णव्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत
ईद
कोटि
ग्रेस दासपरन प्रभु की जय,
जय
प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
हरि हरि बोल।
All glorious to assembled devotees. Hare
हरे
Krishna.
कृष्णा।